Yesterday I shared that I am creating a puppy parent community, and I woke up this morning to almost 100 pre-registrations, which is bananas to me. I just feel so positive and excited about this membership and community that I'm creating. But I feel like when I shared this yesterday, I kind of had mixed feedback. I feel like some people were very on board and very excited, and then I had other people who were kind of like, whoa, hold on, we have to pay for this? Why do we have to pay for this? There are free communities everywhere. I wanted to share a little bit about my vision for this membership and touch a little bit more on price, because I think it's a really valid and important point. My experience with puppy parenthood has been that it has been one of the most beautiful, fantastic, rewarding things I've ever done, and it has simultaneously been one of the most overwhelming and isolating. I have used TikTok as my outlet to create a community for myself, to share my journey, to ask for advice. Especially if you look at my earlier videos, I was saying, hey, like, we're seeing this, does anyone have any advice? And it was just so helpful to have people commenting who had much more experience than I did, saying, hey, this is what we did and this is what worked for us. As my account has grown and as I've grown in terms of confidence and experience with my puppy, I now have people writing to me asking me for advice, saying, hey Liz, I'm seeing this with my puppy. Did you see this with Vigo? What did you do? And I always think to myself, whenever I get one of these messages, how brilliant would it be to have a space for this person to bring this question and connect with other dog owners past just myself. Because coming back to my point around the TikTok community that I've built, I've made what I like to think of as genuine friendships and connections on here. There are people who I've exchanged phone numbers with, people who I chat with at least once a week on Instagram around like what's happening with our dogs. And that's the energy that I want to take and create in this membership and community. Now, in the same breath of saying that I have been so grateful for the community that I've created on TikTok, I've also experienced a lot of negativity and a lot of people who are just seemingly out for blood, for lack of a better phrase. And I think that's the risk with anything that is free. When I think about this membership and community, one of the core differentiators versus what you might find in other communities or other memberships is I really want it to be a place where people are good vibes and people want to be there. And one of the ways that I'm thinking of bringing this to life and nurturing that in the community is having a contract when people join and saying that people commit to not bullying, to being supportive, to being kind. And I know that there are some people who will watch this and be like, I don't want to be around people who can't take the truth, and that's okay. It's probably not for you if that's the way that you feel. And that's not to say that I don't think we should be sharing truths, but I think there's a way of sharing truth in a way that's kind. Even if you disagree with me, even if you disagree with whoever, even if you want to call attention to a different way of maybe thinking about things, there's a way of doing that that's respectful. I think respect and positivity are core to this community and membership. And coming back to the idea of like, I want people who want to be there and linking it to price. If I were to say, for example, it's $5 a month, the desire to join would have to be much lower than if it is, I'm thinking around the $20 a month mark. It's not going to be more than that for founding members, but let's say $20 for the sake of the conversation. For less than $1 a day, for the price of maybe like a coffee a week, that's the price of the membership. So to me, it's still a super accessible price point. And again, not everyone will see it that way because you might see other options that feel more like your vibe. It's totally okay. But I really want to create an amazing experience as part of this membership and as part of this community. This isn't something that I'm going to set up and then peace out on and never show up for and not try and create conversation in. For me, the community management piece is such an important part of making the energy good. And in my mind, I have all of these ideas of things that I want to do in the future. So, I mean, for example, I'd love to coordinate like a Secret Santa at Christmas. How fun would that be with other dog parents? But I also don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't want to be in a position where I'm promising weekly calls and daily blog posts and all of these things. I'm someone who much prefers to start simple, start with strong foundations and build from there. Which also brings me back to my point that I said in my first video, which someone called out around me saying group effort. I said this is going to be a group effort. And what I meant by that was not to say that, okay, as the group, you guys are going to be sourcing the speakers. It was more to say, I want everyone in the membership and community to feel like they have a say in the direction of it. So in terms of what kind of content we talk about, very simply, every month we'll have a poll and I'll say, here are the 5 topics we could cover. What's resonating most this month for you? In terms of future builds of the membership and building it to be bigger than the community and monthly calls, sending a survey out and saying, hey, this is your membership too. What would you like us to add to the membership next. And for me, again, it comes back to, I want people to be part of this who want to be a part of this. I don't want people who are just going to join and then kind of not really care, not really engage. I want it to be something that we build together. And by build together, I don't mean literally. I don't mean I want you sat there building a website or anything. I mean in terms of, I want the people who are part of this membership to be able and want to articulate what their needs are so that we can help make this be the best place for puppy parents. I'm putting a lot of love into this membership and community. I have so many ideas of what I want it to be, and I don't know how it's going to go. I could start this and no one could join, and I could be closing it down in a month. I'll be super honest. I don't know how it's going to go, but I am optimistic that there's a need for this and that for the right people, this will seem like a no-brainer. And people might say, oh, you can join a Reddit for this. You can join this community that does the exact same thing. It's like saying, why start an electronics company? Because there's already Samsung and Apple. Why start one? But on a much smaller scale. I think that everyone has their own unique sauce that they bring to the table. This will have my unique sauce. Sounds kind of weird, but you know what I mean. And it might be for you and it might not be for you. And either way, like, that's totally okay, totally fine, but I digress. Hopefully that shares a little bit more around where my head is at in terms of my vision for the membership and the community. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments, and I hope to see you pre-registering. I'd love to have you join us if this sounds like your kind of thing. If not, don't pre-register. If this sounds like your version of a nightmare, just, it's okay. We can say as TikTok friends.